ओम श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं. We are studying here Sri Shankaracharya's Atmabodha, and last time we studied up to Shloka 39. But for getting the proper connection, we are going back to 38. And here he is describing from this point the sadhana to be practiced. So in the 38 we read again, Vivikta deshe asino virago vijitendriyaha bhavayet ekam atmanam tam anantam ananyadhi. We must have control over our sense organs. We must have vairagya, and then in a secluded holy place, we sit down and then one-pointedly, ananyadi, that means without allowing our mind to go to other objects, we have to think that the Atman, we have to think of the infinite Atman. Think I translated, but the original word is bhavayet. That means we should feel. Our heart is the instrument for realization, not our mind or intellect. Intellect can analyze things. Mind can think things, sankalpa or vikalpa, but it is the heart which experiences. So this bhava is in the heart. Bhavayet means one should feel. Here again I have to tell you that feeling and emotion are different, like heaven and earth. Though in this iron age, as we call it, this word emotion has gained too much ground. And my Guruji used to tell again and again, emotion is biological. And he also used to say that that feeling is genuine, which proceeds from a absolutely tranquil heart. Even then he used to say that thinking is genuine, which proceeds from absolutely tranquil heart. That will is genuine, which proceeds from an absolutely tranquil heart. Now this heart is the instrument of proper feeling. And so in this heart, one should have the bhava, one should have the feeling that the Atman is infinite. One should not allow the mind to think of other things. There he has used the word ananyadhi. That means the buddhi, which is included in the mind, that should not be allowed to think of other objects. And through the heart, you feel that Atman is infinite. And we have already seen that infinitude is not only vast in space. Infinitude only is not non-ending in time. Infinitude means one without a second. So that nature of the Atman, one should feel, try to feel. Then we come to 39. Atmani eva akhilam drishyam pravilapya dhiya sudhi bhavayed ekam atmanam nirmalakasha vatsada. Here also bhavayed. Whatever we see today, drishyam, dhiya, use your mind or buddhi for that. Sudhi, if you are right understanding, Akhilam Drishyam, without exception, whatever we see, feel, touch, etc., whatever we see as objective world, so called, Atmani eva pravilapya. Up till now, he has taught the necessary philosophy. So we know that they are all appearances. Atman alone is real. So you have to feel in such a way that all this is gone into Atman. All this is merged into Atman. All this, like the snake on the rope, has gone back to the rope. All this is merged in Atman. When we feel like that, it will merge because it was unreal. And then how we should feel Atman? Nirmala Akashavat, like the cloudless, clear sky. So sky is given here to illustrate that it is all pervading, to illustrate that it is the only substance, the material of the whole universe. So we should feel that all these things have merged in Atman. Atman is all pervading. In this way, we should feel. These two shlokas we had read last time, but we got connected to it, and now we come to 40. रूपवर्णादिकं सर्वं विहाय परमार्थवित् परिपूर्ण स्वरूपेण अवतिष्ठते. Then what happens to him? One who feels like that, what happens to him? Here, varna does not mean color. Varna means that which helps us to do varnana, that which helps us to describe. That means name, root and name, adhikam. Whatever we feel, root and nam, and then some functions. If there is an earthen jar, it is only the form, it is only the name, plus water is filled in it. So in this world, whatever we see is name and form and some function. Adhikam sarvam, but all of that vihaya. Here, instead of merging, other method is given vihaya, give up, renounce, transcend is the proper word. That means feel that it is unreal. Paramarthavid. If you have known the reality, this is what happens. When these two shlokas we are feeling Atman, then we sort of know it, we sort of experience it. And so all these are transcended. Names and forms and functions, etc. Whatever we see, feel, touch in this universe, imagine, all that becomes given up or transcended and Paripurna Chidananda Swarupena. Our own real nature is full, Paripurna. We do not want anything. There is no want in our real nature. And consciousness it is, and bliss it is. That is the only way we can think of our real nature. We can feel our real nature, that it does not want anything. It is full, Paripurna, and consciousness, bliss. And in that form, in that Swarupa, Avatishtate, we steadily stay. When this sadhana is done, when we have merged everything in Atman, then everything is given up. We know the Atman and we stay in that real nature of ours. Some people, I repeat here, some people like this as the aim of life. Instead of saying we want to become Purna or we want to become Mukta, they say we want to stay in our real nature, Swarupavasthanam. So that he says will come when these are merged in Atman, you will stay in your real nature. Tat Swarupanubhavad Utpannam Jnanamanjasa. Again, I have turned more pages. Huh? 41. Some more thing is yet required. ज्ञातृ ज्ञान ज्ञेयमेतत् परेनात्मनि विद्यते चिदानंदैक रूपत्वात् दीप्यते स्वयमेव तत्. Now, when we are staying in Atman, there is a feeling in the beginning that we are staying in the Atman. So we, the knower, Atman, the known, and the feeling that we are staying like that, this is there in the beginning. And that is called Savija Samadhi. What one has to do, so everything else has gone. But what has remained, this is equivalent to what people call Aham Brahmasmi. Aham is there. Aham is none other than Brahman. This is a very delicate state. And the knowers of Brahman tell us that it is like suspended impurity. You know, in the outside world, in chemistry, there is a clear solution. When we put sugar in water, it dissolves. There is something called precipitate. If you put chalk dust in water, it will go to below. But there are certain things like milk that the particles are suspended in water. When we churn, they drop down. That is the test. So, this I, the experiencer, is like a suspended I. And this is the Vritti Jnana. This is the Ambrahmasmi Jnana. Mistakenly, some people think that this is final, but it is not final. Yet something remains to be done. And what is to be done? The attraction is there. Two things happen. In the Gita 18th chapter, this is described beautifully. In Shloka 54-55, that after one gets this Aham Brahmasmi, then Parabhakti comes to him. This Parabhakti is defined in two ways. One is that he gets such a bliss. When we are passing through heart to the Atman, there is a bliss. And this bliss increases more and more and pulls him into the Atman. But side by side, there is a pain. When the sadhak understands, with so much effort I have come, and yet I have not yet lost my individuality. I have not yet realized Atman fully. So it's a peculiar state, joy and pain together. And then this joy or this pain leads him to see that what is there? I am seeing the best reflection of Atman in my chitta. The eye which is seeing is nothing but a form of Brahman. The reflection which I am seeing is reflection of Brahman. The seeing itself is a function of Brahman. And then what happens? My Guruji repeatedly used to say, flash comes. That is what is mentioned by Shankaracharya here, Deepyate. Deepyate, that means a flash comes. And Gyatru Jnana Geyameta Bhedaha Pare Natmani Vidyate. In the Parabrahman, in the transcendent nature of Atman, this Bheda is not there. So, when you are staying with that vritti, with the eagerness to realize the truth, with the full bliss and pain, and then it becomes like yearning. And through that yearning, Chidanandaika Rupatvat, Chidanandaika Rupatvat, the Jnata, Jnana and Jnaya are all nothing but forms of that consciousness and bliss, Atman. Because it is like that, Deepyate Swayamevata. Then the Atman shines. A flash comes and this Veda is destroyed. And you really become identical with Atman. So beyond Aham Brahmasmi, how one goes, that this bliss and this pain, because the forms are not different from Atman, the Atman shines. And when it shines, a flash comes, and that is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and then Swayamevata Dipyate. Now, this does not happen in a day, but previously also he has told that you have to go on practicing. So after telling this flash, he says, Evam Atma Ranau Dhyanam Dhyana mathane satatam krute uditavagatir jwala sarva jnanendhanam dahet. That very flash is now described. Here comparison is that they used to rub two pieces of wood to bring out fire. So Atman and myself, they are the two pieces of wood and we are rubbing. That is that Aham Brahmasmi Vritti is getting repeated with eagerness. So dhyana or real meditation is like rubbing I on that Atman. Evam, in this way, Atma Ranam, Atma as wood, and Dvivachan is there. So I as wood and Atma as wood, Dhyana Mathane. Dhyana is like rubbing Satatam Krute. Continuously it happens. This Aham Brahmasmi Vritti rises, becomes steady, becomes continuous, becomes strong, and then it happens that it fructifies. And the fructification through this meditation happens. What happens? Udita avagatir jwala. So that flash is being described as avagati means full knowledge. A jwala comes. Like a fire it blazes. Sarva jnana indhanam dahet. So this Aham Brahmasmi Vritti is also due to subject-object variation, and that is why it is a part of Ajnana. That Ajnana is burnt by the Jnana which arises by this continuous meditation. So, and when the Ajnana is burnt, along with that, this Vritti automatically goes away. That is the final process. So he says that in this way, through dhyana, which is like rubbing of two wood pieces, continuously when it is done, then the real knowledge comes like a fire, and ajnana is like indhana, like the wood to be burned, and all the ajnana indhana, it burns. So that is called that flash. All the ajnana is gone, and this wave itself, the difference between the subject and object within this Advaita wave, vritti, is automatically burned because the base of this vritti is subject-object division or ajnana that is burned. Now, Sri Ramakrishna has described this as yearning is equivalent to dawn. Here, one technical word will come. I will read 43. Arune naiva bodhe na पूर्वं संतमसे ऋते तत् आविर्भवेद आत्मा स्वयमेव ईशुमानिव. In the Indian mythology or Indian understanding, we know that we see redness on the east first, that we call dawn. And after about 40-42 minutes, the sun we see. So this interval, the first is called Arunodaya. According to the Indian mythology, sun is traveling in a big chariot, huge chariot. And a charioteer's name is Aruna. So first we see Aruna, that is called Arunodaya. And then nothing more has to be done. This hankering or eagerness or yearning has to be maintained. That is the only thing we have done. There is no other sadhana there. This yearning has to be maintained. And Sri Ramakrishna has said, when this yearning has come, Arunodaya has happened. Now it's a question of time only. Sun is sure to come. But that time means that yearning has to be maintained. That is the only sadhana there. And same figure Shankaracharya is giving here, Arunena eva bodhena. When the bodha, consciousness, has arisen in the form of Arunodaya, the redness has happened on the east horizon. That means Purvam Santamase Rite. So it has destroyed the darkness. Darkness is destroyed when the red light has come. And so Arunodaya means that ignorance is gone, then automatically tata avir bhavet. Avi means prakashita, reveals. Avirbhav means then sun rises. Anshuman Yuva. So comparison is there. Like after Arunodaya, Suryodaya will come. Similarly, when that yearning has removed the dross, removed the andhakar, then Atma, like the sun, Swayameva Avirbhavet. Automatically, sun himself will shine. Only as I said again and again, that yearning has to be maintained. Nothing sadhana has to be done. And when that yearning is maintained, now 40 minutes, 42 minutes we see for the sun and Aruna. How much time it will take, we cannot calculate. But the meaning is that sun is sure to come. This Aham Brahmasmi Vritti is burning our ignorance. And the eagerness is there. So that destroys that remaining darkness. And the flash comes. And then only that flash remains to come. And when the flash comes, the sun rises and we experience bliss. So, tata, then Avirbhaved Atma Swayameva. By himself, the Atma will reveal itself to us, and like the Anshuman, that is the sun with its rays has arisen. In the Kathopanishad, the thing is described like this. Nayam Atma Pravachane na labhyo na medhaya na bhavna shrutena. All these are useful. Yamev esha vrunute tena labhya tasya atma vivrunute tanang swam. That means when this sadhak chooses that Atman, chooses is like this yearning. When he is yearning, chooses the Atman, he does not want anything else, then realization means Atman itself reveals its nature in his consciousness. That is how Kathopanishad describes it. Yame Vaisha Vrunute Tena Labhya. Tasya Esha Atma Vivrunute Tanum Swam. Tanum is not body here, Swarupa. Vivrunute reveals. Atman reveals its own nature in his consciousness. That is what is equivalently described here. Now, a doubt comes. You say Atman is Nitya, Atman is already there. Then what is this sadhana? Yes. Atma tu satatam prapto api apraptavat avidyaya. There is definitely a difference between the state of ignorance and knowledge. This mistake some so-called Vedantis or many so-called Vedantis do. We are Atman, what sadhana we have to do? You are Atman, but you have not realized that. You are Atman, but your behavior shows that you are in ignorance. So, Atma is already obtained, always obtained because that is your real nature. So you don't have to purchase Atman. You don't have to achieve something from outside. Atma tu satatam prapto. And yet, avidyaya apraptavad. Because of wrong knowledge, it is like you have not got the Atma. In our behavior, in our thought, in our feeling, all our things are like that, that we have not got the Atman. Tannashe. When this avidya or ajnana is destroyed by that flame, praptavat bhati. So difference is that now it shines as if we have got it. We had already that, but we had lost it because we did not know it. And when that not knowing is destroyed, then it appears as if we have got it. Praptavat bhati. It shines as if we have got it. Example. Now we are back to the style of Atma Bodha, and previously also sun and dawn and all that example was given. Now he says Swakantha Bharanam Yatha. You have put on a beautiful necklace in your throat, it is on the chest. And you are searching everywhere. Where it has gone, in the house, in the Almirah, everywhere we are searching. And then somebody comes and touches it. My friend, what are you searching? My garland. That is there in your neck. So have you got it now? You already had it. But was it like getting? Was it not like not getting? And when you know it, you get it. So knowledge is achievement here. There is no other getting. So Swakantha Abharanam Yatha, like the ornament within your neck. In that way, when we know the Atman, when we realize the Atman, then we have got it. Sthano Purushavad Bhrantya Kruta Brahmani Jivata Jivasya Tattvike Rupe Tasmin Drishte Nivartate. Now the idea of Jiva is brought here. Jiva is a feeling. Jiva has no existence. Jiva depends upon I consciousness, a subject living in the objects. Now, this is Bhranti. What is Bhranti? The Jivatva is a Bhranti. I am there, but this I is not Jiva. I can be talked only about my real nature. So example is given in semi-darkness, there is a stem of a tree. And what happens? If the lover and beloved have decided that is the meeting ground, when the lover goes, he says, beloved is there. Beloved goes, he says, lover is there. A thief is hiding, trying to hide, and it feels police is there. And police finds thief is there. All the time it is the stem of a tree. So, sthano purushavat, as in the pillar, the purusha is bhrantya kruta. It is done due to bhranti kruta brahmani jivata. So in the Brahman, the jivahood, jivata, the jivahood is made by bhranti, like man is made into that stem of a tree or in a pillar. Now, what is the real nature of jiva? When you try to analyze, jiva means consciousness, I consciousness. But this appears to be a reflection. This appears to be only a superimposition. This is nothing but the Atman seen in this way. So Jivasya Tattvike Rupe. Tattvike Rupe means real nature. Tasmin Drishte Nivartate. When we see that, then it comes out as real nature. We are not seeing properly. We are seeing in darkness. It appears as Jiva. When we try to see the Jiva's real nature by going very near it, and then we find that all this Jivatva has vanished. Jivatva vanishes when we see the Jiva from the nearest point. When we see the real nature of Jiva, then Jivatva itself vanishes and Atman only remains, which we see. So what has gone is Jivatva. Atman is shining. तत्वस्वरूपानुभवात् उत्पन्नं ज्ञानमञ्जसा अहं ममेति च अज्ञानं बाधते दिग्भ्रमादिवत्. Tattva-swarupa anubhavat. When we experience the real nature, utpannam jnanam, the jnana is arises. Anjasa means after that quickly, immediately. What is ajnana? Aham mama iti ajnanam. I and my is the first sign of ajnana, or that is the ajnana. To feel I am there in the world, something is mine, something means it is not mine. This is what is ajnana. And when we realize the real nature, Ajnanam badhate. This is obstructed or rather destroyed. So what is destroyed? I and my is destroyed. Even the Aham Brahmasmi, I is destroyed. And only Brahman remains. That Brahman is the only thing which I am calling as my I. That is a different thing. So in the realization, this I and my of all types vanishes when we know the real nature. When we experience the real nature, then that is called knowledge, and then that destroys the feeling of I and mine. Example, Dig Brahmadivat. Generally, this happens in villages or in a barren land, empty fields. We are going, and suddenly we lose the direction of direct sense of direction, which is east, west, north, south. We lose. But if you can see the sun, then immediately you know this is east. So this is equated to that, that when the sun of knowledge has risen, we see that and our Dig Brahm goes away. Similarly, when the Tattva Sarupa Gyan has come, then Surya has come, then this Dig Brahma goes away. And it is like I and my being destroyed is like Dig Brahma going away. Then what is his experience? What does he experience now? Samyak Vijnanavan Yogi tu Atmani eva Akilam Jagat Ekam cha Sarvam Atmanam Ikshate Jnana Chakshusha. Not by these eyes. The knowledge has become his eyes. That means he is seeing, rather experiencing everything through the eyes of knowledge. Who Samyak Vijnanavan Yogi. Yogi means the sadhak. Samyak Vijnanavan, one who has the right experiential knowledge. Vijnana always means experiential knowledge. Now, some people think Sri Ramakrishna has a new thought of Vijnana. See, Shankaracharya means Vijnana here. Samyak Vijnanavan. Vijnana is the experience of transcendent immanent Brahman. And that immanence is being described here, my dear. In Nirvikal Samadhi, everything has vanished. And when we open our eyes, what happens? We see Atman everywhere. That is Vijnana. Samyak Vijnanavan Yogi Swatmani eva Akhilam Jagat Pashyati. The whole world is within me. The whole world is in the Atman. And outside there is no existence of the world. Ekam cha sarvam Atmana. Everything is only one Atman. Everything is only one Atman. This is called immanence. There is nothing, only Atman, that is called transcendence. Everything is but only one Atman, that is called immanence. Everything is within Atman, that is called immanence. This is called Vijnana, Jnana Chakshusha. To see that already he has realized and knowledge has become his eyes. And through these eyes, he is seeing that one Atman is everywhere, everything is within that Atman. So this immanence is experienced after transcendentally experiencing the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That is called Vijnana. So Shankaracharya has clearly stated here, Samyak Vijnanavan, and that is man with right Vijnana, right experiential knowledge of the transcendent immanent reality. So the immanence is being described here. Everything is within the Atman. Only one Atman is everywhere. This is seen by the eyes of his knowledge. Ikshate, he sees, experiences. Another description of that experience of immanence. Atmaiva idam jagat sarvam atmano anyanna vidyate mrudo yadvad ghata dini swatmanam sarvamikshate. So whenever he wants to show, in the beginning we had seen, beginning of Atmavada, that what is the Upadan current, what is the material by which this universe had made? And he had said Brahman. So this material cause is being described with the illustration of clay and a jar. So he says, Atma itself is all this world. This we can. Atmano anyanna vidyate. There is nothing other than Atman. Example, murdo yadvat ghatadini, like clay in pots and dishes and everything made of clay. So Atmanam sarvam ikshate. So he sees Atman to be all. He sees the Atman as all. That is, he sees directly that Vijnana is further described like this. That not only transcendent reality, but that very Atman is seen as all. Then only, actually, that is the goal of Vedanta. If you look at the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, everywhere, Sarvatma Bhav is called as the goal of life. Sarvatma Bhav, that everything is my Atman. So, this transcendent immanent reality is the goal of life. And that is being described first as transcendence and now as immanence. That the same Atman is everything. That is what he actually experiences. Nothing else has remained now. Now, his name will have to change. What will be his name now? Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta. Though he is living in the body, he is free from the attachment to the body, from anything in concern with the body. We understand this only through the bright examples. And immediately to my mind, those who have read, please read all of you. For seekers of God, in how many situations it is being described with Mahapuruji, Sri Ramakrishna's own disciple, Mahapurush Shivananda. In the old age, the body had several diseases and he could not sleep. So somebody is asking him next day, how are you? He said, I'm fine, I'm normal, I'm fine, I'm happy. He said, Maharaj, I heard you did not sleep last night. As if coming from the first floor to ground floor. He says, oh, you are talking about the body. Yes, body has no pleasure, even sleeping or sitting. And this body, different situation, same talk. This body, it undergoes 6 transformations. Now it is going toward the last transformation, which is called death. But again and again it says, by Thakur's grace, I know that I am not the body. So I am fine, I am blissful. Another situation. Some doctor comes and asks, how are you, Maharaj? Then his sevak is standing in front. Mahaprabhu says, about that you ask this sevak. He knows better. I do not know. I am fine. I am always blissful. Several incidents are quoted one after the other. But then suddenly he pats his body back. And he says, but there is a special thing in this body. Living in this body, I did sadhana and realized God. Living in this body, I touch Sri Ramakrishna. So there is something special in the body. And then he says, I do not neglect the body. What the doctor tells that we do. But this is the state of realization. And this is called Jivan Mukta. Jivan Muktastu tad vidvan purvopadi gunan stejet Satchidananda Rupatvat Bhavet Brahmar Kitavat. This Brahmar Kita, no, I used to misunderstand through what impression I do not know, that the cocoon he builds up, and when the Brahmara comes, he is afraid of Brahmara, thinks of the Brahmara and becomes Brahmara. But that is not what the books tell us. Brahmara Kit is the name of a particular insect, not Brahmara. And it catches a cockroach and then it presses that cockroach to the wall. And the cockroach is afraid of that Brahmarakita. And through that fear, always thinks of that Brahmarakita. And then it becomes like the Brahmarakita. That is the example. So, Jivan Muktastu, but the Jivan Mukta is like that, Tad Vidwan, that knower is called Jivan Mukta, Purvopadi Gunas Tajet. Previously, he had the body in his consciousness, he had the mind in his consciousness, he had the buddhi in his consciousness, he had the I consciousness within him. All these are called upadhis. We have seen always that upadhi is that which is not your real nature, but somehow you are feeling that as your real nature. That is called upadhi. So purva upadhi, Ajit, purva upadhis are given up by him. Sachidananda Rupatvat. The hetu is that all the Purva Upadhis are nothing but Sachidananda only. This can be seen in two ways, because that Vidwan is nothing but Sachidananda Rup, because Purva Upadhis were nothing but Sachidananda Rup, so the Upadhis are dropped, and like Brahmarakita, like the cockroach thinking of Brahmarakita, he is only Brahman. Jivan Mukta continuously is in a state of continuous meditation on Brahman, and so is Jivan Mukta. Again, the Jivan Mukta state is nicely described. Tirtva moharnavam hatva raga dveshadi rakshasan yogi shanti sama yukto atma ramo virajate. Tirtva moharnavam. Moha, different fascinations due to Advaita Bodh are like an ocean, and he has crossed it now. And attachment, repulsion, they are like Rakshasas, and he has killed those Rakshasas now. Yogi, the sadhak, Shanti Sama Yukto, he is now at peace. Atma Rama Virajate. He has his arama, he has his restful state only in the Atman, and that is how he shines. Virajate, that is how he shines. बाह्य अनित्य सुखा शक्तिम हित्वात्म सुख निर्वृता घटस्थ दीपवत स्वस्था स्वांतर एव प्रकाशते. For him, nothing is outside him. The whole universe is inside him because he is the Atman. So, what we call outside, that is, we seek pleasure outside. They are anitya. Our attachment to the external pleasures which are anitya, hitva, he has destroyed that. Bhaya anitya sukha asaktim hitva. Then where is his happiness? Atma sukha nirvrita. He has accomplished the happiness which is the nature of Atman. It is not a subject-object happiness. The very nature of Atman is Ananda, and that is what he has achieved. Example, there is a lamp in a jar. In a jar, not of glass, clay jar. So normally a lamp is supposed to give light outside. But this light is within the jar. That means within himself, the whole world is there. Within himself, he is seeing himself. Within himself, he is feeling blissful. That is the Jivan Mukta state. Gata Deepastavat Swastha. Swastha means staying in himself. Generally, for a healthy man, we ask, are you swastha? Swastha denotes health. Actually, swastha means staying in oneself. Swantareva prakashate. Inside only that light is burning, like in the jar. And so, every whole world is inside him, and is full of light and full of bliss. That is the Jivan Mukta. Now, Upadhistopi tad dharmair alipto vyoma vanmuni sarvavin mudavat tishtet asakto vayuvat charet is like Upadhisto api. Still we see him living in the body. Still we see him using his indriyas. Still we see him, he has a mind, he has an eye consciousness. And yet, tad dharmair alipto, but he is not contaminated or touched by the functions of body, indriyas, mind or eye consciousness even. Vyomavad Muni. Example is given like the sky. Within the sky we see dust, within the sky we see color, within the sky we see shape, within the sky everything exists, but the sky is untouched. Similarly, though he is within everything, Upadhishtha api, he is absolutely untouched. We just now described Mahapurush Maharaj. And he again and again say, but I am not that, but I am not that. Sarvavin, Sarvavit, he knows everything because everything is nothing but Brahman and he knows that. But appearance will be peculiar. Moodavat tishte, Moodavat, as if he does not know anything. By his appearance, Brahmajnas are not easy to catch. So by his appearance, we not understand, as if he does not know anything. Why he does not know anything? Because nothing is real for him. So he appears like a Mooda. And freely he moves. Three examples are given here. Akasha, Mooda, and Vayu. Vayu moves freely. So Vayu was Chare. He moves freely, appears like a Mooda. His consciousness is like the sky, though he is living in the body. The meaning is that the moment you realize, you do not drop your body immediately. Though he is living in the body, he is full of knowledge. How? Now, what happens at the point of death also has to be described. The life of Brahmajna is glorious, his death is more glorious. So, we are being now explained the death. For him, there is no death. For him, the body is dropping down. Upadi vilayad Vishnu nirvishesham vishen muni jale jalam viyad yomni tejas tejasi vayatha. When the upadhis have gone, when the body, indriya, mind is left, then Vishnu name has come, mind you. Vishnu. Vishnu name has come because all-pervading God or immanent God, all-pervading God is called Vishnu. Vishli Vyaptatvat. The supreme reality we conceive having three functions: the creation, sustenance, and dissolution of the world. Creation, Brahma; sustenance, Vishnu; dissolution, Shiva. Now, the sustenance requires God is all pervading. The immanent reality, again and again, immanent reality is always described, what is called Vijnanavad. So, Vishnu, in Vishnu, Upadhis are gone in Vishnu. Where the Upadhis are gone? In the all-pervading reality. Then, what is the Muni now? What is that thoughtful person? Nirvishesham Vishet. Nirvishesham means Nirguna Brahma. Vishet, he has entered into that. He has entered into Nirguna Brahma. The Upadhis have gone into all-pervading reality. Example, three examples. Jale Jalam. In clean water, if you drop clean water, can you see? Vyad Vyomni. The Akasha in the jar becoming one with Akasha in the sky, it is already one. But now we see that. Tejas Ivayata. Light entering light, because there was no difference. In this way, he has become one with that Nirguna Brahman which he already was. The difference is that he appeared to live in the Upadhis, they are dropped now. Now, for us now, the lessons from the Jivan Mukta are being brought. A Sadhak, Mukta, Jivan Mukta have been described. Now for us, for the sadhakas, the lessons from these people is being brought to home. That is the next topic. I think we stop here. Today we have done 14 shlokas and the remaining 15 we will surely finish on the coming Wednesday. So Maharaj, you can announce again that we'll be starting Shankaracharya's Vakya Vritti. Now here, somebody has raised a doubt and let me clear it. There are two different books, Vakya Vritti and Laghu Vakya Vritti. And we are going to deal, both Shankaracharya, but we are going to deal with Vakya Vritti, not Laghu Vakya Vritti. From next Friday, next Wednesday, we shall be able to complete this Atma Bodha, and next Friday, we will start Vakya Vritti. Now here, I request Maharaj that Vakya Vritti is a very small treatise. So
Yes,
he should think now what I should do after that. That also thought has to be given. My thought, anyway, let Maharaj think about it now. I am making another announcement. In the beginning, in the chat, a big screen was being shown. Some people have arranged one more lecture for me on Tuesday. And that is the topic is Vedanta and Buddhism. Same time, 5:30 to 6:30. On Tuesday, 15th of December, I have another lecture. Anvikshiki is the name of a society, and they have arranged it. And the link and all that was shown in the beginning. On the chat, it's still there, that link. So, Tuesday, Monday, you know, I have my Karma Yoga class by Kolkata Advaita Ashram. And Tuesday, I will be having this talk on Vedanta and Buddhism. Now, let me conclude this today. Om Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanam.